Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It is the 9th day of February 2026. I hope you're all safe and healthy. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you and your family had a good weekend, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, working alongside first responders to save lives every day. Those also that pick up garbage, keep our cities, streets, and towns clean. Those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are helping the ones that are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts that create the demand to cause these ugly industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, and families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game yesterday in Boston, Massachusetts. The New York Knicks destroyed, absolutely annihilated the Boston Celtics yesterday by the score of 111-89, 22-point win for the Knicks. The difference between Friday, people ask Jalen Brunson, what happened between Friday and yesterday? There was some dumbass questions that the media asked. I sometimes, I commend guys like Brunson that had to take these stupid questions every day after every game, or the coach, Mike Brown. What happened between Friday and Sunday? Well, let's count the ways. Friday, no OG, no Deuce, no Cat. Sunday, you get Cat, you get Alvarado, you get Mo Diawara. That's the difference. 3 points. Now, what happened with Diwara? Now, if you recall, during the summer, I was evaluating the talent that played in the summer league, and I wasn't very high on Kolek at that time, if you recall. I came on board with Kolek after he worked hard and showed more development early in the season. But I always said that if any of the rookies or any of the youngins was going to get time in rotation, it was Diwara. And the reason I said that was because he was already playing in the summer league NBA level defense at age 20. And so the Knicks have him signed to a 1-year, $1.2 million deal. He's surely going to get an extension this summer. It won't cost that much because he's still going to be only 21. I'm expecting something along the lines of 3 years, 4 years, $2 million a year, something like 3 years, $6 million, 4 years, $8 million, something like that. But so he's going to get re-signed. He's already showing. Again, he's showing the NBA level defense. I was not expecting his shot to be so on point, and the reason is because most rookies do not shoot that well in their rookie season in the NBA because of the speed of the game. He has adjusted to the speed of the NBA game. Like, you could play pro in France, okay, and the game is fast. And of course, you could play NC2A, but there's no speed on the planet in any league like the NBA. So he is showing the propensity to hit open three-pointers. He doesn't have to, and he creates his own shot sometimes too, but he doesn't have to do that. In this Knicks lineup, in this Knicks roster, he will get open looks. In fact, because of the presence of guys like Cat, Brunson, and then of course even McCall, OG, Deuce, these guys create such pressure on the defense. You got to leave somebody open. Because if you don't double them, one of them is going to kill you. Shamit. Okay? So you got to leave somebody open. So the obvious choice, if I'm the opponent, in this case the Boston Celtics, it's going to be Diwara. I'm going to leave him open. Or I'm going to let somebody guard him one-on-one without doubling him. And yesterday, he was 4 for 4 from 3. He took the ball to the basket when he needed to. And he made his own shot in spots that he's high percentage against guys like Jaylen Brown. So that is huge. And okay, now, what amateurs would jump on and say, well, he must play now. No. Why do I say no? Not necessarily. I'm not saying he's not going to. Every coach has a system in the NBA. Okay, Mike Brown has a system. Tom Thibodeau has a system. What the coaches want is two things. They want players that fit their system or players that their system is built for. Sometimes the same thing. For example, obviously, Yabusele did not fit Mike Brown's system. He might have fitted Tom Thibodeau's system. He did not fit a Mike Brown system. The system wasn't built for him. So that's why he's now in Chicago, and that's why he's kind of thriving already. But you need, and then Friday, we did not have OG or Cat, two important players, if you want to win, especially against the top team in the East. So we did not have them. You don't have a Deuce McBride coming off your bench. So you're missing two starters and probably one of the most important bench pieces you have. Okay? But Sunday, we got back Cat. We start Shaman. We got Alvarado, who took McBride's position here temporarily. And you got the defense. And then, of course, you add Diwara, where you have the size. Now, the first thing, you got to have people that fit your system. Diwara fits the system. Second thing, the coach has to be able to trust you against high-level teams, which means playoff teams. He's getting there, okay? In the playoffs, it's the ultimate basketball chess match in the playoffs. And teams will exploit weaknesses. Again, just remember Indiana exploiting Cat and Jalen Brunson in the pick and roll last year. Now, the Knicks have addressed that. And how they have addressed it is the combination of both Jalen Brunson and Cat understand you must press the players to the sideline. Not like last year where you let Halliburton get into the middle expecting help and it wasn't there. You got to press them toward the sideline. That's what the Knicks are now doing. And they're predicating their defense on that philosophy, and it's working, obviously. So Diwara has to earn the trust of the coach in these situations. And it's almost not fair to expect a rookie to know how to handle himself in these situations. It's good to have a great game against a top team like Boston, like he did. He shows flashes. But when you get to playoff time, every turnover is important. Every possession is important, okay? Every sequence is important. So you can't have mistakes. That's the bottom line. So you want guys in there that you know not going to make a lot of mistakes in these situations. And that's the only thing left for Diwara. Otherwise, you already got your ninth guy. I know we were talking about Haywood, Haysmith, what's his name? We were talking about Haywood from Miami. We were talking about Boucher. We were talking about those type of guys on the buyout market. See, a lot of y'all get so hyped and desperate that you say the word need when there is no need. Need means we can't win without it. Like we need Jalen Brunson. We need Cat. Because we can't win without them. Not no chip. Okay? So that's a need. A good to have is somebody, okay, you got something just in case something goes wrong. You got insurance. That's a nice to have. A guy like a Haywood or a Highsmith, that's his name, Haywood Highsmith or Boucher is a nice to have, not a need to have. We still need no, we don't need anything. We just need our guys to stay healthy. That's what we need. Because we can't win if they're not. We could win without Highsmith. We could win without Boucher. Okay? Now, nice to have would be having Diwara play that role. And it's up to the coaches to decide, can we trust him? Not just during this season, but in the playoffs to play that role. That's a very important question. And it's easy for people with their beer in their hand or their wine in their hand in their easy chair to make those decisions. You're not being paid to make those decisions. You can't get fired if it fails. Brown can. Okay? So he's got to make that decision. This is a year where he's expected to get to the finals. So Diwara, as I talked about from the summer, and even yesterday on the live, I was like, Diwara should get a few more minutes. I didn't say he should be getting 26 that he played yesterday, but I thought he should be getting more than 6 or 8 and 5 what Brown been giving him. So yesterday, Brown plays the boy 26 minutes, and man, he obviously, as I said, to me, his biggest value is not that he hits open shots, is that he could guard get Jaylen Brown. That's his big. He could guard Jaylen Brown. And this is the thing. We don't need him to guard Jaylen Brown for 30 minutes a night. He could guard Jaylen Brown for 15 minutes. That's huge, okay? So to me, that's the biggest takeaway. He played 27 minutes yesterday. He had 10 points, but he was plus 22. That 6'9" with the 7+ foot wingspan and the ability to move on an NBA level on the defensive end of the floor, to know where he's supposed to be on the defensive end of the floor, no matter how fast the game is, and it's fast. That is huge, very huge, okay? So we are right here on the verge of, do we just forget them other cats and can we just play Diwara? Because when you think about it, look at yesterday. Yesterday, Mike went with an 8-man rotation. He played Clarkson, but Clarkson was basically 7.5 minutes, so he wasn't in the rotation yesterday. But you had Diwara, Mitchell Robinson, and Jose Alvarado. Between the three of them, Diwara, Mitchell Robinson, and Jose Alvarado, they were plus 50. And that was the difference in the game. The Boston bench was negative 80 in their rotation. He went with what's the guy's name? Joe Mazzulla, whatever. He went with 10 guys yesterday. Okay, he went with 10, but they was minus 80, them 10. So that was the difference. See, the good teams are going to match up well in their starting units. The top teams, the Knicks are now top 3 in the East, top 2 actually in the East, and Boston's top 3. The good teams going to match up well in their starting 5. The key is what you're getting off your bench, what you're getting in those ancillary role players. That's very important if you want to win a chip, as we saw with every team that wins a chip in these recent years with all this parity. So the bench was key. Alvarado, Mitchell Robinson, and Diwara present a problem for any team because you got 2 different styles. You got the starting 5 with one style, but the bench with another style. The bench, you're going to have a lot of defensive players, Diwara, Mitchell Robinson, Alvarado. But you got guys that could also hit shots, Diwara and Alvarado. Okay? Now, you bring back a Deuce, and you're going to have now Shamet, because let's assume you're going to get OG back eventually. You're going to have Shamet, Deuce, Alvarado, Mitchell Robinson, and Diwara. That's your bench rotation. And that's 10 solid guys. Okay? So you can bring in a Diwara to guard a guy like Jaylen Brown. Okay? He could guard Jaylen Brown. He could guard Luke Garza. He could guard Cater. He could guard Derek White. He could guard Shireman. He could guard Vucevic. He could guard Pritchard. He can guard Jordan Walsh. He can guard Hugo Gonzalez. He can guard all of them. And that's extremely, extremely big. So I guess what I'm saying is, from this point, Brown needs to keep playing this kid as much as he can in the rotation. Meaning at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes every game, especially in this little stretch right here. This week, the Knicks play 2 more games. They're back-to-back before they go on the All-Star break. And then when you come back, you got a hellified schedule when you come back. There's a big 5-game West Coast swing in there. And there's a few back-to-backs. March was going to be the tough month. But if you can develop this boy so that you can trust him in the big games, and the only way to find out is, I'm saying, like this week, they play Indiana on Tuesday, and they play Philly on Wednesday. If he could get in there with guys like Maxey and Edgecombe and Grimes, and, if he could get in there with them cats and hold his own in big games, because this week, now we getting to crunch time, okay? Getting to the close here to the All-Star break, but it's crunch time now. This is the second half of the season. This is down the stretch, the beginning of it. So if you could trust him for that, we might have something right here. Like, we going to have something long-term. Long-term, the boy is 20. By the time he's 22, Who knows? I'm not saying he going to, everybody's comparing him to Siakam. I don't like to throw, and some of y'all be tripping because you start throwing a name like Siakam out there, and if he doesn't make it, he's a failure, which would be falsehood. Okay? Suppose he's just a defensive whiz, and he can lock down anybody. Maybe he won't be Siakam offensively. You can't, it's not fair to think that. And that's the problem. It's okay to hope he could be Siakam. That'd be great if he becomes Siakam. But for some of y'all, you're mentally ill when you start thinking, well, he's not really Siakam. So who set him up to be that way? Let the boy be who he is. Right now, he's a defensive juggernaut that can hit open shots. Let him keep doing that. Okay? For us, if he does that, we can win the chip. We got our 9th guy. Okay? We got him. Okay? So, or the 10th guy, whichever. Okay? We got him. But now, what you're talking about yesterday against Boston, you brought out Diwara, Robinson, and Alvarado, and they turned up the notch on the defensive end of the floor. Okay, they turned up the notch on the defensive end of the floor. Now, they scored the requisite number. They didn't really. They scored 27 points, which we like 30. Okay, so they were a little short on that. But the defense that they put, like I said, it's not always about outscoring. It's about locking them down. They definitely did that. They definitely did that. So yesterday, the Knicks had, as a team, looked like they had 23 assists, which is below par. And they had 46 points. By the way, the Friday game, I didn't look at the game, but I can surmise what happened. So here's Brunson. He's the captain, right? And we know he has a tendency to try to take over games too early. He looks at his lineup. He has no OG. He has no cat. Okay? So, and Friday, he shot 20 times. And McCall shot 16 times. McCall trying to make up for the lack. McCall's not that dude. He's just not. So, and nobody else got over 7 shots. Shaman only got 7 shots. That's a game when you want Shaman to have 16 shots. Okay? And what happens with the Knicks is when the offense is sputtering like that, you would like to say, okay, the defense is still there. So when Brunson is taking too many shots early in the clock and he's not hitting, it screws up the defense. Okay? That's why it's important that the ball moves and everybody touches it. Everybody's involved on both ends of the floor. We'd like to say, okay, defense should be constant, right? Yeah, we like that. But the reality is you can't ice out people offensively and expect them to just show up on defense. It doesn't happen like that with our team. Okay, he needs to have everybody playing. Everybody's got to touch the rock. So yesterday, for example, Brunson took 21 shots. Bridges took 10. Hart took 14. Towns only took 9. Okay, but he's plus 10. And then you had Alvarado take 12 shots. Shamet took only 5. Shamet did not have a good game yesterday, but he fits so well with what we're doing. He was still, even though he was -1, you didn't notice it because he just fits so well with what we're doing. So, but Alvarado got 12 shots yesterday. Hart got 4. It was a nice shot distribution. Okay. And then, of course, the defense was turned up 2 notches yesterday. So this is very good. Now, it's going to be a nice test to close to the All-Star break. I would sit OG again against Indiana, even though he's going to want to play. Why? He loves playing against his ex-teammate Siakam. He does. But I'd rather sit him. Maybe play him against Philly. Maybe just let him sit until after the All-Star break. Let that toe completely heal. And why? Because now we can play Diwara. We can start Shaman and roll with this right now. Okay? Now, once Deuce gets back, so now you got extreme excellence on perimeter defense between Alvarado and Deuce. Okay? And Shaman. You got extreme versatility defensively with Diwara and Mitchell Robinson. You got offensive prowess and rebound with Mitchell Robinson and Cat. A roughneck on the boards. Yesterday he had 11 boards. He had 11 boards yesterday. No. He had 10 boards yesterday. Roughneck on the boards. He only had to play 29 minutes yesterday. We all right. I've been telling y'all we good. Every loss, some of y'all like to jump off bridges because you need that might or something to calm you down. But if you're looking long term, if you're looking even long term toward the end of this season, we good. We good. Okay, we are. There's gonna be some rough patches going forward, but it's gonna only make the Knicks better. What we really want is health. We don't need to add another player. There's no need. Nice to have Highsmith. Nice to have, okay, Boucher. Nice to have. Not have to have. Okay? So we could save that money and still win. The key here is Diwara and, of course, the return of Deuce, which I'm really not worried about the return of Deuce. I'm a little concerned about Diwara. I don't like the idea of putting so much responsibility on the shoulders of a rookie that's 20 years old if you're trying to win a championship. I don't like it. But if he is forged through the fire that he's in, good. Okay? Good. Then we got a guy. Okay? We got a guy for next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. He's going to be really good for the Knicks. But as a rookie, if he could come through now on a consistent basis, we got a guy. Okay? So, and we don't have to pay nothing else extra. The Don has struck again. 50 pick, the 50th pick, 1.2 million. And he's locking up all NBA players. All NBA players. The best players in the world. And he's only 20. So I'm very hyped about him. Yes, I understand the hype about Alvarado. But see, everybody knows Alvarado. As far as the league, he's not sneaking up on nobody. Diwara is. Okay? Now, Alvarado's going to do good. And again, we're going to need that depth. And I'm feeling bad for Jordan Clarkson because he's going to be the odd man out, even yesterday. So you're missing a couple of players. Clarkson still only got 8 minutes. And he was +9 in his 8 minutes. See, sometimes, and that's why I try to explain to some of y'all, you don't just start stacking players that's not going to play. A guy like Clarkson did not come to New York to be DMPCD. He came to New York to be a part of, an important part of, a championship team. He wants to play. So y'all that keep naming NBA 2K players as if you're going to put this one, go get that one. Not everybody's going to play. Okay? You can't. This is the league. Not everybody's going to play. Now, you go get a Boucher or you'll go get a Highsmith. He's going to be spot. They're going to both be spot minutes situational. Especially when you got a Diwara. What? You want to sit Diwara to get one of these guys off the waiver wire? No. And that's what you're talking about. Because when Deuce come back and when OG come back, Shaman comes back to the bench. Deuce is going to play. Shaman's going to play. Alvarado's going to play. Then what? See, Kolek only played garbage minutes yesterday. And that's all he's going to get from now on. Because we got too many players. Okay? You too stacked. Now, for now, guy like Kolek, he ain't going to say nothing. But I tell you what, he going to want to play. So if you're talking this summer, I wouldn't be surprised if his team said, send my guy someplace he can play. That's what it comes down to. Look at Yabusele. Yabusele didn't come to New York to be DMPCD. He didn't. So he goes to Chicago, and what happens? He plays. That's what they want to do. They want to get paid, but they all want to play. Some guys, when you get the big contract, they don't care if they play or not. They're counting their stacks. And they're going to have their stacks. Guaranteed money, they got their stacks. So play me, don't play me. I'm still going to be in my penthouse somewhere. I'm still going to be in my mansion. I'm still going to be on my yacht. I'm still chilling. And some guys do that. Anthony Ambulance. But then there's guys that want to play. And that's most of the players. They don't sign up to play basketball to sit. They want to play. Okay? So I wish y'all would stop naming guys that won't get minutes. Without actually thinking, I know that's a difficult thing for some of y'all, about how they would play. Okay? So right now, you got a stacked squad. And when Deuce comes back to this team, and then, of course, again, OG, you're going to have 5 solid dudes that cover all aspects. You got your power forward, small forward guy in Diwara. You got your shooters. You got your perimeter defenders. You got your monster in the middle of Mitchell. You got everything you need. Okay? Now, if you want to get a Boucher, somebody gets hurt, Hayward Highsmith, okay. but they're not going to play if everybody's healthy. And you actually hope they don't play because that means everybody's healthy. Okay? But right now, as we get 2 games before the All-Star break, my heart's a little hurting because I know we're getting toward the end of the season, and y'all know how it is with no Knicks in the summer. Dad. But this summer league's going to be fun. Diwara. Diwara, and if Dink Pate don't go back to college, which I think he probably will, it's the best financial move to go back to college. Best financial move for him. Go back to college, play a year, come back the following year, age 21, 22, top 5 pick. You know, get your guaranteed lottery money, more money. Plus, he's gonna make money in the NIL right now. That changes a lot, that NIL. So, you know, we may not have Dink Pate. Some of y'all would say, well, sign him now. Where? Can you sign him now to more money that he would make in NIL? I don't know about that. The Knicks right now barely got enough money to sign a guy off the waiver wire in March because they're getting a shortened amount of money. You're going to have to wait till the summer and hope Dink, you know, is going to still be here. He may not, okay? Because he can get paid in NIL, and then he can come out a top 5 pick and get really paid, okay? So, I don't know. If I'm the Knicks, and in order to facilitate that, you'd have to move some guys. You'd have to move a McCullough. You'd have to move a Dadier to get. See, now, if you offered Dadier money, like if you said right now we're gonna give you 3 years, $9 million, he probably stays. Okay, and with a player option in the 3rd year that you can renegotiate because by then he's gonna be a monster, then he probably stays. But you'd have to move Diwara. I mean, you'd have to move Dadier. And I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Hard decisions to make at the end of the bench. Right now, though, we try and win this chip. So let's go get it. Next game, Indiana. It ain't going to be easy. But Indiana don't have Zubac right now because he's been hurt. He came over hurt. When they do have him, though, they're going to be rough. But for now, you know, we got a good possibility here against Indiana. In New York, too. So let's see if we can get this done. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Monday. Shalom.